NCAA's Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, Mike Achimugu, said the two incidents were different. He explained that in the Kwam-1 incident, the airline never activated its rights to take the passenger to court, so the NCAA did what it was supposed to do by petitioning the authorities over the erring passenger. Mr. Achimugu, however, noted that the Ibom Air incident, the airline immediately activated its right to take up the matter and it went to court, adding that the NCCA was not directly involved in Ms. Emerson's case, whereas in Kwam-1's situation, the authority issued an advisory to the Airline Operators of Nigeria, AON, to ban the musician indefinitely from flights pending the outcome of the investigations. Explaining why Emerson was placed on a no-fly live ban, Mr. Achimugu said airline operators had the legal authority to take such action.
Meanwhile, the Labour Party, LP, has condemned what it described as the selective application of justice in Nigeria. The party cited disparity in treatment meted out to popular musician Wasiu Ayinde Marshal, aka Kwam-1, and a female passenger, Ms. Comfort Emerson, in separate aviation protocol breach incidents. In a statement, the acting national chairman of the Labour Party, Senator Nenadi Usman, noted that great nations are built on the foundation of equality before the law. According to the LP, Nigerians were stunned that while the incident where Kwam-1 endangered the lives of hundreds of passengers aboard a value jet aircraft by attempting to obstruct the plane's movement was simply glossed over, Ms. Emerson received several stringent punitive sanctions, including remand in prison custody. While acknowledging that Ms. Emerson may also have violated passenger safety guidelines, the LP strongly condemned what it described as inhumane treatment meted out to her as a blatant violation of her constitutional right to personal dignity.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has alleged that the detention of former Sokoto State Governor Senator Aminu Tambuwal by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) is politically motivated. In a statement on X, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar insisted that the arrest was part of a strategy by the Tinubu-led administration to harass and weaken the opposition. He accused President Tinubu's government of using the fight against corruption as a political tool to coerce opposition leaders into joining the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC). The ex-No. 2 citizen said it is as though anyone who associates with the opposition is a target for phantom corruption allegations, and as soon as they are coerced into the political agenda of President Bola Tinubu, their sins are forgiven. He said this definitely is not how to build institutions, adding that such tendencies offer the stimulant for corruption to thrive.
This broadcast of Newscope is coming to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of OYOSTATE, Ibadan. Respected technocrats and Chairman, Federal Civil Service Commission, Professor Tunji Olaopa, has called for the separation of politics from education sector funding to enhance genuine human capital development for national growth. Professor Olaopa was delivering the second Distinguished Personality Lecture of the Emmanuel Alayande University of Education, Oyo. BCOS reporter Adebayo Abdurrafi was there.
Delivering the lecture titled Artificial Intelligence and Partnership for the Sustainability of Education in Nigeria, Professor Tunji Olaopa, who is a retired Federal Permanent Secretary, said it is high time administrators at the aim of affairs at each educational institution adopted innovation that ensure financial sustainability of its academic objectives. The professor of public administration observed that the curricular dynamics of the education system in Nigeria is not matching up quick enough with the changing dynamics of the modern world, stressing the need for the country to abandon the traditional education system template for the fourth industrial revolution-oriented curriculum. while lamenting that Nigeria's higher education dynamic is not sufficiently efficient in preparing the country for the status of a developmental state. Professor Oluyole pointed out the need to address the entrepreneurial, technology, development, student friendliness, research, managerial, town and gown, as well as relevance or capability deficits in the sector. He further recommended public-private partnership in preserving the sustainability of the education sector and its objective of an AI curriculum that the Nigerian state can harness in tackling the challenges of becoming a developmental state that is firmly inserted into the fourth industrial revolution.
The Nigerian education system is not grounded in entrepreneurial skills acquisition that prepare the student for future, except unfortunate pause in the scramble of white-collar jobs that universities provide. In other words, the Nigerian educational system is not generating wealth and is not self-dependent and is not self-reliant.
Professor Oluyole added that universities of education like the Emmanuel Alayande University of Education, Oyo, has a singular role to play in partnering with the federal government and other relevant stakeholders, including the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, Nigerian Union of Teachers, among others, to grant pathways to quality teacher education and certification in terms of qualitative professionalism. Earlier, in his welcome remarks, the Vice Chancellor, Emmanuel Alayande University of Education, Oyo, Professor Oluyole disclosed that the institution has recorded an outstanding feat of admitting a total of over 6,000 students in the first 2 years of its transition into a university.
The teacher training colleges were designed for primary schools. The Nigeria Certificate in Education NC was designed for secondary school, and the degree in education was being like a top up. The teacher training colleges are dead, virtually dead. Nigeria Certificate of Education NCE are also dying, if not dead completely. That's where we are having this dual mode that government is called. In terms of the curriculum of the degree is not as sound for education. That's why in our university, as a University of Education, even when CCM asking for certain courses that they call common education courses, our university also instituted additional 3 courses to make sure that our students have strong and deep understanding of what education really means.
High point of the distinguished personality lecture, which was attended by principal officers, staff, and students of the university, was the exchange of gifts by both the institution and the guest lecturer, while a commendation plaque was presented to the guest lecturer by the Vice Chancellor, Professor Oluyole. Adebayo Abdurrafi, VC West News.
Nigeria's debt profile over the years, especially on President Bola Tinubu's watch, has raised concerns among finance sector stakeholders and ordinary Nigerians. Of particular concern is the fact that very little impact by way of economic turnaround is being felt by the masses, despite the huge loans. Bimbo Akobi, in this special report, examines Nigeria's current debt profile.
It is not new for countries of the world to borrow money from international finance organizations to assist in infrastructural and economic developments of their countries. Bodies like the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the Africa Development Bank, among others, give out loans to developing and developed countries to aid their growth. The loans are, however, serviced. That is, repayment to these finance institutions with various conditions as agreed upon. What concerns stakeholders and the generality of Nigerians is the speed at which the loans had been sought by previous Nigerian governments and is still being sought by the present administration, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and which is coming for great concern because the effect is not being seen. Even states are seeking for loans. Are loans being sought for, used for the reasons they are meant for? That is the question on the lips of many Nigerians. A political scientist and technocrat who had served in government, Professor Gbade Ujo, in an interview with BCS News said people are becoming uncomfortable with these borrowings as they are not feeling the impact on the society at large.
Federal government can restrict themselves from borrowing money, our naira may appreciate. Rather than borrowing money, pay debt. that have been accumulated over the years. And the government of Obasanjo ensured that they got debt forgiven. They were forgiven debt. A lot of money that Nigeria borrowed. So we need to run a government. We have to cut our coat according to our clothes. Not at all time that you go out to borrow money. Rather than borrowing, there are several alternative ways of financing infrastructure. There's what we call counterpart funding. That, okay, you want to improve on schools, there are foreign funds you can get. If it is 6 billion you need, bring 2 billion, we give you 4 billion, things like that. So the issue of accumulating debt, it is not the best for our society.
According to him, Nigeria should run a more productive economy instead of borrowing huge loans that its effect will not be felt.
Citizens cannot see the impact of huge foreign debt. It's a problem. That's the argument. It's a problem. Let us see commensurate infrastructure to the volume of money you are borrowing. And the value of our naira matters. When you keep on accumulating debt and you are repaying debt, when you look at GDP to all that, naira will be going down. Naira will be going down. Rather than borrowing, let us run a productive economy. A productive economy in which we keep on exporting to generate foreign exchange. When you are exporting and you are generating foreign exchange, you will reduce borrowing. You will have sufficient resources to manage your country.
The World Bank recently approved a sum of over $8 billion, about 12 trillion naira, in fresh loans in 2 years to cut across 15 projects ranging from energy, education, infrastructure, among others. In August 7, 2025, over 460 billion naira loan was again approved for solutions to internally displaced persons and host communities. Are the generality of Nigerians feeling the effect of these loans? Bimbo Akombi, BCUS News.
The federal government has reiterated its commitment to ensure Nigeria meets the December 2025 deadline for compliance with the European Union Deforestation-Free Regulations (EUDR) framework on cocoa trade. This commitment aims to safeguard the nation's cocoa exports to EU countries and to strengthen sustainable agricultural practices. Recall that the National Bureau of Statistics revealed that cocoa exports in Nigeria increased by 606% in the last quarter of 2024, rising from about 171 billion naira in the last quarter of 2023 to 1.2 trillion naira. The EUDR framework prohibits the import of cocoa and other commodities linked to deforestation after December 2020, and this has since been extended to 2025. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Agribusiness and Productivity Enhancement, Dr. Kingsley Uzoma, who spoke today in Abuja at the Nigeria-EU Cocoa Roundtable on EUDR compliance, stated that the attainment of the EUDR framework requires proof of deforestation-free supply chains. He assured that the government is committed to agricultural sustainability, value addition, and global trade standards.
Let's now join Bukola Oluyole of our sport desk for the latest news updates from the exciting world of sports.
Good evening and welcome to the Sports Corner. My name is Bukola Oluyole. The National Sports Commission has given its backing to the Nigerian senior men's team, the Tigers, as they begin their quest to conquer the continent, where the 31st edition of the FIBA Men's AfroBasket Tournament tips off in Angola. Chairman of NFC, Shehu Diko, assured the coach Mohamed Abdurrahman-led side that the commission, through the federal government, was committed to supporting their ambitions to land a second AfroBasket title. The Tigers will compete in Group B alongside defending champions and 3-time winners Tunisia, Madagascar and Cameroon. They begin their campaign against Madagascar on Wednesday, August 18, before taking on Tunisia 2 days later. The round-robin phase comes to a conclusion when they square up against Cameroon on August 17. A total of 16 nations will compete at the 31st AfroBasket tournament, which will run from August 12 to 24 in Angola. The Southern African nation currently boasts the most titles in AfroBasket history with 11 titles. Super Eagles forward Sadiq Umar has completed the takeover of one of Nigeria's most historic football clubs, Ranchers Base FC of Kaduna, in partnership with Mohammed El Rufai. The move marks an important moment for the club, with the 27-year-old pledging to restore their reputation as a breeding ground for elite talent and a symbol of pride for the people of Kaduna. Once a powerhouse in Nigerian football, Ranchers Base has a storied past but has struggled in recent years. Following the takeover, Nura Abdullahi has been named president of the club with a mandate to lead its operations and long-term strategy. The chairman of Kaduna State Football Association, Faisal Tozo, also pledged full support for the new leadership, promising to ensure the club's growth and stability. Brighton Women FC of England goalkeeper Chiamaka Nadozie is using a nomination for this year's Yasin Award in the 2025 Ballon d'Or call as a charge for female netminders across Africa to work harder. The Nigerian national team Super Falcons' first choice in goal is looking up to award day, September 22, in France, to know her fate against the other four nominees: Anne Catherine Berger of Germany, Katakol of Spain, Anna Hampton of England, and Daphne von Domslier of Netherlands. Italian orienting athlete Marcia De Bartolis has died at the World Games in Chengdu, China, after collapsing during competition. Organizers said De Bartolis, 29, was found unconscious during an orienting event on August 8 and died 4 days later, said a joint statement from the World Games organizers and International Orienting Federation. The World Games is a multi-sport event held every 4 years for disciplines not included in Olympics. Orienting sees athletes navigate an unmarked course with a map and cutlass, punching in at designated spots along the route in the quickest time. And with that, we come to the end of stories from the world of sports. Good evening.
On the foreign scene, at least 66 people are still missing a week after flash floods hit the northern Indian state of Uttarakhand. An official statement confirmed only one body recovered so far. Folashade Akintola of our foreign desk compiled details of this and other news from across the world. Folashade's report is presented by Bimbo Akambi.
Nearly half of Darali village was submerged on the 5th of August in a mudslide caused by heavy rains and flash floods. An army camp nearby also suffered extensive damage. Rescue operations are continuing at the site of the disaster as workers search for missing people. The work has been affected by inclement weather and the blockage of a key highway near the site due to the mudslide. Weeks of heavy rains have pounded Uttarakhand, with Uttarkashi region home to Darali village among the worst hit by flooding. Around 1,300 people have been rescued from near Darali since last week, officials said. Heavy rains last week had led to the swelling of the Kiaganga River in the region, sending tons of muddy waters gushing towards on the hilly terrain, covering roads, buildings and shops in Darali, a nearby Asil village. A man has died from burns and thousands of people have been forced to flee as wildfires sweep through parts of Spain, fueled by strong winds during a searing heat wave across Europe. The victims suffered serious burns as winds of up to 70 kilometers per hour, that is about 43 miles per hour, whipped the flames through Tres Cantos, a wealthy suburb north of the capital, Madrid, officials said on Tuesday. The man later died in hospital, becoming the first death from dozens of wildfires to hit the country since the heat wave began last week. The head of the regional government of Madrid, Isabel Díaz Ayuso, said in a message on X that she deeply regretted the man's death. Hundreds of Tres Cantos residents were evacuated from their homes. Elsewhere, about 2,000 people were evacuated from hotels and homes near the popular beaches of Tarifa in the southern region of Andalusia. The wildfire there fire broke out near where a similar blaze forced evacuations earlier this month. And a Thai soldier has been seriously injured by a landmine near the Cambodian border, days after both countries agreed to a ceasefire following last month's deadly border clashes. The soldier's left ankle was badly damaged after he stepped on the device while patrolling about 1 kilometer, that is about 0.6 miles, from the Tam Wan Tom temple in Thailand's Sorong province. The army said he is receiving treatment in hospital. Thai Army spokesperson Major General Winthai Suvari said the incident proved Cambodia had breached the truce and violated international agreements, including the Ottawa Convention banning landmines. The statement warned that if violations continued, Thailand might exercise the right of self-defense under international law principles to resolve situations that caused Thailand to continuously lose personnel due to violations of ceasefire agreements and sovereignty encroachment by Cambodian military forces. Phnom Penh dismissed the accusation, insisting it has not laid new mines. This is the fourth landmine incident in recent weeks involving Thai soldiers along the two Southeast Asian neighbors' disputed border. Bimbo Akombi, BCUS News.
To end this edition of Newscope, here again are the main points. The federal government has unveiled plans to strengthen interagency coordination and deepen community engagement as key pillars of the revised National Counter-Terrorism Strategy 2025.
The Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority (NCAA) has explained why Comfort Emerson, a female passenger who allegedly assaulted Ibom Air Crew members, was remanded at Kirikiri Correctional Center, while Fuji music legend Wasiu Ayinde, popularly known as Kwangwan, who reportedly disrupted a Valley jet flight in Abuja last week, faced no such court action.
Respected technocrat and chairman, Federal Civil Service Commission, Professor Tunji Olaupa, has called for the separation of politics from education sector funding to enhance genuine human capital development for national growth.
At least 66 people are still missing a week after flash floods hit the northern Indian state of Uttarakhand.
And that's all from Newscope Desk for now. It was packaged by Tola Teriba and delivered by
Josephine Oluwabumi. Good evening.
I'm Jamila Elegbede. Thank you for listening, and do not forget to join us for the Yoruba version at 8 p.m. Good evening.
The city of Ibadan, the home of ancient warlords, in the Pacesetter state. This is Oluyole FM 98.5 Ibadan.
Ọ̀gbẹ́ni, ǹjẹ́ o mọ̀ pé ọ̀nà kan ṣoṣo láti mọ ipò àrùn kògbóògùn rẹ ni ṣíṣe àyẹ̀wò? Èyí ni yóò fún ìwọ àti ẹnìkejì rẹ ní ìgbẹ́kẹ̀lé àti àlàyé kúkún.
Má fi nù mí, mo mọ̀ ọ́ jẹ, mo sì mọ̀ wípé ìṣẹ́dúró rẹ̀ ti wà fún gbogbo wa, pàápàá jùlọ àwọn ọ̀dọ́. Ṣàyẹ̀wò fún àrùn kògbóògùn HIV lẹ́ẹ̀kan péré nínú oṣù mẹ́fà. Tí o bá sì wà pẹ̀lú ewu ńlá láti kó HIV, ṣe àyẹ̀wò léraléra.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, o ò sì gbọdọ̀ dá ṣe àyẹ̀wò náà. Ó dára púpọ̀ kí ìwọ àti olólùfẹ́ rẹ jọ mọ ipò ìlera HIV yín.
Jíjẹ́ kí àyẹ̀wò HIV wà lára ètò àdójúkọ wa ní swagger tuntun.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ó ṣe pàtàkì láti mọ ìgbésẹ̀ tí ó kàn láti ara èsì àyẹ̀wò náà. Tí èsì rẹ̀ bá jẹ́ pé ẹ ní àrùn náà, lílo antiretroviral therapy tó túmọ̀ sí pé o ò lè kó ran olólùfẹ́ rẹ láti ibi ìbálòpọ̀. Tí èsì àyẹ̀wò náà bá sì fi hàn pé o ò ní, o gbọ́dọ̀ dáàbò bo ara rẹ kí o sì fi ìfẹ́ hàn àwọn tí ó wà ní àyíká rẹ tí ó ní àrùn náà.
Ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ dẹ́kun àrùn HIV ká sì ṣe ìwúrí fún àwọn tó ti tójú bọ́, pàápàá jùlọ àwọn ọ̀dọ́, láti ṣe àyẹ̀wò láti ran ara wa lọ́wọ́ ká sì fòpin sí àléébù tó wà pẹ̀lú àrùn HIV. Àròkọ yìí wá láti Federal Ministry of Health pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ Nàìjíríà àti àwọn ènìyàn Amẹ́ríkà fún àjọ PEPFAR.
Good tasty food is worth living for. Worried about your oil every time you enjoy your favorite meal? Introducing Golden Terra Smart Balance Oil. Smart Balance Rice Bran Oil is rich in gamma oryzanol. Several studies suggest that gamma oryzanol may contribute to the reduction of bad cholesterol. Golden Terra Smart Balance Oil. Good food, no worries.
ètò ìlera nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń gbèrú sí ìjọba akitiyan ètò ìjọba ọlọ́lá jùlọ gómìnà Olúṣèyí Abíọ́dún Mákindé láti pàṣẹ iléeṣẹ́ elétò ìlera ìpínlẹ̀ yìí ní kó àwọn èwe tí ń dọ̀rọ̀ tàn síbẹ̀ ìgbìyànjú iléeṣẹ́ elétò ìlera ń tẹ̀síwájú láfi rán àwọn ìyálọ́mọ létí wípé bọ́mọ bá ti pé oṣù mẹ́fà lẹ́yìn oúnjẹ omi ọyàn pọ̀nbélé àwọn oúnjẹ aṣaralóore alápòpọ̀ mashed foods la máa fún wọn jẹ pẹ̀lú àfikún omi ọyàn àwọn oúnjẹ bíi ẹyin ẹja èso ewébẹ̀ ẹ̀wà ẹ̀pà sóyà ìrẹsì àgbàdo iṣu àtàwọn míì àwọn oúnjẹ wọ̀nyí ló kún fún okun agbára ìjípépé ìdàgbàsókè àlàáfíà àti ìlera tó péye bákan náà ní ká gbájúmọ́ ìmọ́tótó ara àti àyíká bá a ṣe ń fọ́mọ oṣù mẹ́fà láwọn oúnjẹ yìí láti máa fún mi ọyàn lá kí wọ́n lè jẹ́ àgbéyè àti àwòyè bó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ wípé ètò ọrọ̀ ajé lágbára lásìkò yìí ẹ jẹ́ ká pèsè ọjọ́ iwájú rere fáwọn ọjọ́ ọ̀la wa ìṣòwò jìnnà fún àjẹun ìkéde ló wá látọ̀dọ̀ ikọ̀ àárín àti ilé-iṣẹ́ elétò ìlera ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́.
Mom's love is pure. She does. Mom's special jollof. So smile on your face. Mom's you'll be fine. Cheers you up. Mom tasty stew. Nourishes the family. Golden Terra Oil. Tasty. Golden Terra Oil. Golden Terra Oil. Golden Terra Soya Oil. Golden Terra Oil helps Mom pour her love in the tasty, nourishing meals she cooks for her family. Golden Terra Oil. Pour pure love.
But it's strong, my multi-fresh. It clean well, oh, now Oral-B. Strong teeth Oral-B. Fresh bread Oral-B. 24/7 with Oral-B. Strong teeth Oral-B.
Give on our teeth 24 hours protection. Use Oral-B today. The Nigerian Dental Association. Tanda Gidigba with Oral-B.